Hello everyone, this is Super Synapse. This is a video for people who have roles in the Phonon DAO's Dework organization. And it's just an overview on how to create tasks, how to use the platform. I've also made a video for managers of the Phonon DAO Dework groups. I highly recommend you check out that video just to see what's different, what else is out there. It'll help you contribute and work with the people who are managing these different spaces. So let's quick dive into it. So Dework is organized very similar to Discord in that it's got organizations on the left, very similar to how Discord has different Discord groups. One thing that's a little bit different, there's a home icon. Sometimes it'll have a little bubble with like an alert. If we go into the inbox tab, those alerts would correspond to different things in the inbox. So these are things that have happened since you last checked in. It's a great way at a glance to see what's happening in the Phonon Dework organization. But let's go back to the main page here. So just like the sidebar is similar to Discord, spaces are very similar to Discord channels. And not just that, those channels are integrated within Dework. So as things are updated in governance or partnerships or communications, etc., those tasks or those updates will be able to be viewed by people who can see those different channels in Discord. So we'll go to the economics to start. If we go there, I'm going to click on board, and now we can see the economics board. It's pretty sparse. This has just been put together. In time, this will populate. To give a little bit more of a view, you can see all these different spaces here. If we go to the combined board just on top of that, you can see the different tasks, what group they're from, who is associated with those tasks, and some other information. And let's see how to create a task and see how that all works. Let's go back to economics. So if you have the role of economics in Discord, you will be able to add a task. So let's go ahead and add a task. For economics, let's make this task create a plan for Treasury DAO holdings. All right, we're going to click on permissions. I want this to be something that is assigned for this demo, but you could also leave it open to applicants if people want to say, hey, I'm interested, and you add them later. You could also do direct claiming where anyone can claim this task. So that's more or less first come, first serve in some regards. You could also make this a contest if you wanted different people to put forward different things. Since we're going ahead and assigning, I'm going to assign this to Super Synapse. I'm also going to assign this to Lunchbox. And this is a typable field. So if you wanted to add someone else, this is, by the way, that's Super Synapse is me, Lunchbox is my wife, and Maverick's my dog. These are all people who are part of the Discord, and you should be able to search for anyone who's in the Discord. Most particularly people who are part of the economics group that have the economics role. Let me go and add Lunchbox back. Okay, so we're going to save that. In this instance, we're going to add a bounty. So we're going to select the token, Phonon. I'm going to enter 100 Phonon. Something to note here, you can add other tokens. You could add in any crypto that you wanted if you really decided to. But you can also peg that to USD. So if I click that, now it's not 100 Phonon, it's $100 in Phonon. So that's kind of a nice thing. For now, we're going to stick with Phonon. I'm going to click Save. We're going to add skills. This one here is going to be a development thing. We're going to write a description. How to diversify the DAO's treasury holdings. And we're going to put a deliverable here. We want a document with a plan on how our stables and other coins are held in the treasury. I'm going to put an additional point here. I'm actually going to add this as a subtask just for demonstration purposes. It is important that most of these requirements are in the main description, but we're going to add a subtask. We're going to do research DeFi, and we're going to add the description here. Look into DeFi stable farming. And we're going to save that. Something else to note here, if desired, we can assign certain people to this task. We can also add a calendar date. So this needs to be delivered by the 31st. Let's say we had a meeting coming up. That would be nice to have. And you can keep on doing this on down. It's very important when you create this task that you are specific on what needs to be delivered. So we could also have additional research in the pros and cons of different stable coins. Okay, so the status for this is to do. That's fine. We have the assignees. I'm going to put the priority on this as high, especially because it has a due date coming up. We're going to do task points. Task points should be relative to what the dollar value of the task is. So in this case, actually better yet, I'm going to go to the bounty. We're going to peg this to US dollars. I'm going to make this task points also worth 100. So the thing to note with task points, you don't have to have a bounty, but it's valuable for us to keep track of how difficult tasks are. So let's say we didn't have the budget approved for $100 in Phonon, but this needed to get done. We wanted to assign it for free. I would still recommend putting a task point of 100, just so that whoever gets that, they have credit for, hey, they've done work for something that, if it was paid, you could consider that to be $100 in value, but they just weren't paid. But in this case, we're keeping the task points because it is also a $100 bounty. We're going to tag this as econ. Please remember to do this each time because it will show up in the combined board with the econ tag. It also will help us in categorizing expenses and things at a later point. All right. And Lunchbox in this instance is the reviewer. You could also add other people here too if you wanted, but we're not going to do that for this this task. We're going to create it. So there's two things I want you to note here. If I go to the Discord, and this is the Discord for Super Synapse, two things have happened. So even though Lunchbox created this this task, in the economics group, here we go, we now have a new task created, and as Super Synapse, or anyone in economics, we can click on this and we can see this task. People who weren't part of this task would be able to comment here, hey, I want to help in this task. Please let me join. I need the bounty to pay rent. All right. But also, people could comment valuable things as well. Like, I heard USDT is terrible. Here's a link to an article on that. Someone else could also reply, you know, I love the beefy.finance pools. We should definitely do our stable coin DeFi there. Okay. In addition, you can see that submit work is an option, and this would allow for if we had documents we wanted to share, like links, if we wanted to put anything here with notes, We're not going to do that just yet, but that is something that is viewable to people who are part of this task, who are assigned to it, because we created it as an assigned task. And you can see that is locked. For anyone who's a regular user, they would not be able to do anything with these items up here. I just have an admin role, so it's there. However, they would be able to comment, so do keep that in mind. All right, we're going to go back to Lunchbox. Here we go. Oh, and let me go back to Discord. One other thing to note. So it did create a task with some details on that task, but in addition, it created a new thread. And this thread automatically invited Super Synapse as well as Lunchbox, and they can now discuss it. They can now see new things that have happened with this task. We'll check on this later as it moves. And it's just a space for us to be able to talk about this and put in more details that we have. This channel will delete when this task is finished and it's been paid out, but for now, it's just going to live as this task. If someone decides they want to join, so they clicked this link and it was open for them to join, they would also be invited into this thread. If someone is assigned, they will be added to this thread as well. So that's really a nice thing to note. All right, let's go back to Lunchbox though. So let's say we get into working on this. We've talked. It's now no longer just a task, but we've kind of met. We are starting to work on this. As someone with the economics role, Lunchbox is now able to move that task into in progress. As we finish, it can then be added to review. Since Lunchbox has the ability as the reviewer to review, she can approve this task, and now it's waiting to be paid. So I'm not going to actually pay this at this point, but if you notice down at the very bottom, when Lunchbox associated her account with Dework, she also was able to put in a MetaMask and connect your MetaMask and have that address associated. And if this gets paid, it will pay out to her address. And when it gets paid, it'll pay out to Lunchbox as well as Super Synapse, since those were the two people assigned to complete the task. And this payout can be done by either the DAO through a governance vote, or it can be done through the economics lead if they're given a budget to be able to pay out tasks done in their space. One other thing to note, if I go to Lunchbox's profile, you can see the completed task that she has. And when this does get paid out, she will have a balance that accrues. This pays out to her MetaMask wallet directly, or her Ethereum wallet. But as she accrues more and more payments, it'll keep track of that. And that's really important for the DAO to be able to see where our money flows are. It'll help us over time build consistency in what payouts we have for what tasks. And it's really just a great way to reward people for making the DAO great. Something else I want to mention, you'll notice there's a little plus sign next to economics. If you were to click this, you can make subgroups. We'll call this economics number 2. I would recommend that we not do this currently. This is something that makes more sense if the DAO really grows and becomes something much bigger. But you can see it makes a whole nother board, and it doesn't have any tasks on it. Right now, it's best that we just keep all of the economics things or the other spaces in the main space. And because Lunchbox only has the role of economics, it does not allow her to delete this space or to manage it. So that's something where if that actually gets created by accident, you'll have to talk to the economics lead or whatever space you're in to be able to delete this. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and I'll see you around.